So my last video, we were talking all about AI ethics and ethics around using AI more in video production. But in this video, we are talking about actual practical ways we are using AI in my production company with my team. We're not going to go too in-depth into the actual software and different platforms we're using, but I'm going to give you a little overview of different things that we are using. And if you'd like to comment on what you liked and what you can see more of, and maybe some full kind of tutorial videos on how to use that software, you can comment on that on this video. So let's start off with the simplest thing, which would be something like ChatGPT or Claude. Like the rest of the world, I have switched over to Claude for obvious reasons, their automation and integration with Google Drive and Gmail and just your calendar and the way you can automate things. And this has been really interesting. So in the beginning, like a lot of people, were just using, ChatGPT or Claude to help with ideas. Getting in an email, or say it's a request for proposal from a company, bringing that into something like Chat or Claude and having it break that down and have it to quickly give us a summary of what is needed in that. Really, it's just using as a tool to kind of break down some key information, and maybe you put your information back to it and then ask it, what am I missing? And I found it extremely useful that way, especially on pitch things. So helping to get documents out to people to pitch, sending them uploading what I have done back into it. So not using it to create the stuff in the beginning. I would use it to help me create ideas. Then I would write those ideas, get those things out, maybe flesh it out with some of my own ideas for sure. But then uploading that document back in and saying, where are places you think I'm missing? I think this is a really cool place where we can be using this stuff. And with videos themselves, it's like with a script or something like that, like, how can we make this better? And it's really good not to, totally use that. It's just another kind of way of thinking of things. And I've actually talked to a client of mine that they do a ton of stuff in AI. Their kind of base of their software is AI. And he said to me that his employees, when they send them work that they've done, he wants to make sure that they have actually ran that through AI before they send it to him, to make sure that there isn't any holes or any things they're missing, because that's the first thing he's going to do. And I think that's a big deal. I think a lot of places, if you're working for somebody, creating something for somebody, that's probably might be the first step they're going to do. So have you taken what you've created and brought that back into AI for it to kind of help go through and more giving you more ideas, or seeing where you might be missing something or missing an opportunity? So those are the basics. I mean, these are, there's 100,000 videos of these probably on YouTube right now of people talking about how to use Claude to automate your emails, to check your emails, to make lists. And I've been using that stuff. It's been really, really helpful for me, especially with somebody with ADHD. And I just love coming up with ideas, and I want to do a million different things. And so I can just kind of spit that stuff at Claude and say, hey, break this down into different things. I can actually action plans for me to do it. Not just me coming up with ideas all the time, but not actually being able to execute on the ideas all the time, because I have so many ideas coming all the time, which is kind of a problem. So again, writing pitches, getting your email responses. These are obvious things. Again, I don't want to go too in depth in this thing. This would be like very kind of, I think everybody's probably using AI like this. If they're not, you should be, because it's a real time saver, and that's where it's making a huge difference for us. I have used it on a business side in a couple different ways that's really kind of helped to save me money. Is one on payroll. So I have a team of 4 people, and they are on payroll for my business, and including myself. And so I was paying somebody a pretty good chunk of money per month to do the payroll for me. So an accountant to do the payroll for me. And I tried doing some automation with this with Claude, and taking the Canadian tax forms and taking information and actually just tell it what I need to do. And it was super smart. It got everything exactly right. I compared it to what my accountant was doing, and it made exactly the right pay slips, told me what I needed to pay for source deductions. It knew that I was the owner of the business, so I don't qualify for EI, for unemployment insurance, and I don't have to pay him for that. It was really great. And I actually got it to look at other things for me. Look at my HST return, which is in Canada one of our stupid taxes that we have. That's a kind of a revolving door. You charge people HST, you collect HST, the money you collect on HST goes against the money you have to owe in HST. I really hate it, but it actually found a bunch more money to go against my HST than my accountant did. And not to say that my accountant was doing a bad job in any way at all, but she definitely was not using these things yet. And she told me that, and she was getting to the end of her year, and she said she needs to get on this thing. It's just going to make her life easier and make things. And I'm still using the accountant to help me with submitting stuff to the government and kind of checking over things. But for a monthly payroll, I'm not. And for doing my profits and losses every month and stuff and doing quarterly stuff like that, it is a huge help, and I can automate that stuff and really helps me as a company to run more efficiently and takes up less of my time. And these things don't just apply to video production. These are things that apply to small business as a whole. And that's, I think, why a lot of these other videos on YouTube are blowing up, because people are realizing this and trying to use these tools to help save them money. And I think this is where it's making, a change in the employment world, but I don't think it's taking necessarily away a lot of jobs, but some jobs, if you're not using AI, are going to get tricky to be profitable in. And going into one of the very first use cases of using AI in video production and our video production, what we've been doing. And that first thing would actually be AI voiceover. So we've been doing this for about 2 years now. It's been out for maybe 3 years. Artlist is kind of typically where we're going to get this done. We have an Artlist subscription. This is not, at all paid by Artlist. Artlist hasn't talked to me at all, so this is not a promotional video for Artlist, but we have been using Artlist for this. There is other services out there. In the beginning, it wouldn't say words properly. It didn't do things perfectly. We had a lot of things with names and then getting the pronunciation right. It's gotten way, way better. And to be very clear, if I have the budget and it's kind of talked about beforehand, I would much, much rather use a real voiceover professional. I'm friends with some voiceover professionals, and I hate the idea of saying, well, I'm using AI for all my voiceover. I'm not using AI for all my voiceover at all. But we are using it for quite a bit of stuff. And a lot of times it's not for a full video. In some cases, you get together, you're cutting footage, you have all these interviews, and you're like, man, I wish I had like a narrator that was just introing this section. I wish there was a little part together here that I could have somebody kind of saying a sentence that helps to join these two parts together. We've used AI for that kind of stuff a lot because we didn't have the budget. And there were some other things where they came to us at the end and kind of said, hey, we have a script, or we have an idea of a script. We want to have voiceover this thing, and the budget isn't there. They don't have a budget for script writing. They're going to give us a script that they want to use. We don't have a budget to pay out a voiceover talent, and we use AI. And it's been really, really great and really successful and helped us a ton and helped our clients a ton, which is really the point on this for making profit and working in your business. You want your clients to be happy, not just yourself to be happy, and saving money for them or being able to do a better product because of AI really helps them. Now, in my ethics video, I talked about voiceover and stealing other people's voices. That's not something I'm okay with at all. Not using celebrity voices, not using recognizable voices. And again, I would much rather, with the budget there, to hire an actual voiceover talent. You can do multiple takes with them. You can get them to change the way that they're saying things. The voiceover AI is not there yet where you can really have this conversation back and forth. And I don't know if it'll ever will. Maybe intelligent or artificial intelligence will get to that point where I can have a real conversation back and forth and they can understand that I want this to be a little bit different in the way you're saying it, maybe a little bit more emotion or maybe a little bit less emotion, or maybe, like these little nuances as humans that we kind of get, or somebody who works in this field gets, and they're kind of hard to explain. Like, how do you say that to an AI? When you're saying it to even like a voiceover artist, they're trying to interpret what you're saying to them because it's hard to say exactly what you're, it's like a director talking to a talent when they're trying to get them to do and act a certain way. And it's these little changes, not like, you can say act sad, act happy, act this. It's like a little change. I want you to adjust this by a little bit here. And this is what I want that to feel like. It's just like you're a little bit more on edge, but you're not totally on edge. There's these nuances, the way that we speak, that human to human, especially people in these ecosystems that work in creative things, understand or have a better way of understanding. So I don't see that as of yet working with voiceover AI, but again, it has saved our butts. It has been worthwhile to have and use on video production. This next one is something that I've just recently used a few times on a couple projects. And it has been with changing the scene. I talked about that in the last video. So changing a boring drone shot to a bit more of a sunny day drone shot. When we went out and got the footage, it was a bland, overcast, ugly day, and there wasn't budget for us to go back or time for us to go back. So I did this change to the footage with AI. I think I used Runway AI for that. But I think, Higgsfield, Runway AI, all those things that are doing manipulation to footage, and even in Artlist, there's so many of these different ones out there. They're all pulling from the same things. They're all pulling from Nano Banana, or you can pick those different engines, and they're just different skins, like the websites, for how you're using them. So I'm still playing with that and seeing which is the most cost-effective one to use and the best one to use. Higgsfield, it's all over the internet. It seems like they're paying every single creative out there to talk about how great Higgsfield is. I like their integration of their thing. Runway, there's supposed to be some stuff with ProRes, because that's kind of a problem having, but I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here and not really talking about what I meant here, which is changing your footage you have. So either taking out something from the image, taking out a license plate. But what we actually used it for on a last project you just did, a recent project, was changing the weather. So we were filming something for winter, but we're filming it in the spring. So there's these certain shots we needed to get outside certain places. And those places needed to look like they had snow. We were showing it to the audience, who there was a recruitment video, and for getting people overseas to come over to work at a certain location. And we wanted to make it look like winter. Again, I just went and shot stuff really quickly. I threw that into, and I'm telling it, change the scene from summer to winter and put some snow on the ground and put some snow coming down. And it worked very well. And it worked for like 2-second clips. If you were to analyze it, look closely on it, there's some weird movements and stuff, but it worked well for that. Another tool that we've been using, and I've been using myself a bit more, because kind of my role as the owner of my business has been kind of shifting, or not shifting, but I'm always looking at different tools and different things that can help make us more profitable, help make our jobs easier, and help make better products for our clients. And so I've been really pushing on this AI stuff and seeing what is actually going to work and what's not working. Me doing that legwork and kind of finding stuff and then bringing it to my team to say, hey, this stuff is working, let's go and use it, or having calls about this stuff and working with it. One of the ones is using AI to edit or pre-edit your videos, or to come up with a rough cut. And one of those software is called EdiAI. Again, no affiliation with me. I have talked with them on the phone. You got to run through with them. They've helped with a team just kind of getting some stuff set up, but I have a license with them. I've paid for that myself, and we've been using it to do some cuts. I used it to edit a rough cut of a video where I had 13 interviews, each were about 20 minutes long, and I had a breakdown of a kind of rough outline of the video. This is a corporate video from the client, and it said, this part we want to have talking about this section, and I got it to do a rough cut for me. It did it in about probably 20 minutes or so. It took all those things I brought into it, encoded it, spit it out, and gave me a rough timeline. From that rough timeline, I went through it and kind of selected what I thought was great, and I showed that rough timeline to my client, who then made comments on it as well in Frame.io and said, okay, this is what we like, this is what we didn't like, this fits into this section. This stuff is really exciting to me, because this is really taking away that tedious part of sorting through stuff. And this is for different kind of projects right now. This is really for corporate stuff for us, not for documentary and other kind of things where you can use this for a rough cut. But there is, I think, a huge value in watching all your footage when you're shooting something like a creative spot or a documentary piece, because you're going to get ideas as you're watching it. And I think if you just let AI watch all of it for you, you're not going to get sparked those ideas. So I'm going to do both of them. I'm going to let AI run it, give me a rough cut, and then I'm going to watch stuff through. But some corporate stuff where it's very cut and dry, we want a soundbite that says this from these interviews. We want one that says this. It's not as creative. We're not able to make these different kind of jumps in story and different kind of woven from different parts and different time things. I think also as this stuff gets better, you are probably going to talk to it more and more. And I think video editors aren't going to lose their ability as being a great video editor because of their knowledge. I think they're just going to be less using their hands, and they're going to actually be telling prompts. So if you think of yourself, if you were a director or a senior editor, and you're sitting in a studio and you're talking to the other editor and you're telling them, okay, cut this here, put that there, let's try this before that, let's do this. That's basically it. You're still doing the creative, but you're getting the AI to move that stuff around and say, hey, maybe find this stuff for me. This other thing that EdiAI has that we haven't tried out yet that I really want to try is a thing called Night Shift, I believe they call it. They announced it at NAB, where it's just basically you're shooting all your stuff, you're uploading. I think you can do it through Frame or something like that. You can upload into the thing. You can tell it to run through all your footage, give it a little brief of what it is. It will sort all your B-roll, and it will cut some timelines for you to have. And so the next day when you go to look at dailies and stuff, or want to look at stuff, you have kind of a rough thing brought out from all your interviews, and all your B-rolls being categorized with descriptions of what it is. That's another use case we're using, not just with Eddie, but we can use with Claude. So there's a limitation with Claude right now. You can work with Google Cloud, with your Drive. You can work with stuff right on your hard drive of your computer, but you can't work with external hard drives as of yet. That could be changing very quickly. But the organizing footage, so it will watch video for you. You can get it to organize stuff and make EDLs for you right within Claude. Claude has just said that they can just start linking with Adobe stuff, so you can do these other things. I haven't tried that yet. I'd love to hear from you guys. What are you using for stuff like this? What are your recommendations? I'm still playing with it. And really my thoughts on this is that eventually or soon, somebody like Adobe and or DaVinci are going to buy whoever these best companies are. For sure, they're working on this stuff themselves, and they're probably watching these companies making these things. And there's a whole bunch of different ones coming out now. There's Plotline that I haven't played with yet, all these different ones. And if any of you guys are watching this, you want to send me a software or send me a license to try it out, I'd love to do that, play with it, see how it works, and make a video about that. This is really me trying to help out things I'm learning myself. And this is a lot of things I like doing YouTube for, is like, these are things I'm figuring out for my business, and I like to share that with the people that are watching this to help them as well, because I've had both ways as well from other people, YouTubers doing content like that on YouTube for myself. So just a way to kind of give back, and I like talking about these things as well. Another one we've been using AI for is photo organizing and photo retouching, or photo editing, I guess. One of the projects we have, it's an ongoing contract we have, and every week, over 3 days of shooting, we are delivering a whole bunch of footage, plus a YouTube episode, and a whole bunch of photos. And those photos and that footage needs to be named in a very specific way. So one of my editors has made a whole kind of prompt with Claude where he can put that into a folder, and he can tell it what that whole thing is, and it renames all that stuff, and it can put descriptions beside it as well of what is in that photo, because it looks at the photo and it can tell. The same thing with video. And this has been a real help with that. Now we're using Imagine AI as a tool to batch edit a bunch of the photos. So going through all the photos and batch editing. I have another friend who's a photographer, great photographer, a good friend I've known for a long time. And he told me, like, corporate events, stuff like that, he's using Imagine AI to kind of batch edit a ton of stuff. And he says it works amazingly well, especially in situations like that, kind of more artistic situations, things where you're shooting sports and different things. It doesn't do as well of a job with, because it doesn't know what makes that a good photo, which not necessarily always is the lighting or the way somebody's looking at a camera. When somebody's skiing, there's certain position people are in when they're skiing that looks much better than maybe a frame before. Same with on a bicycle, on a skateboard. There's different things that way. They're a bit more complex than a computer or an AI looking at it, but maybe you can train AI to do that. Those software as well, you can train to learn how you color grade and tell it to color grade a photo like you do and batch that stuff out. Another way I've been using AI, and this is more going back into like Claude and ChatGPT and more Claude, is using it to help analyze and get information on a client when I'm working on a pitch. So this is kind of going back. It should have been earlier about that pitch section, but working on things that way where I can really help by seeing a client that I'm talking to about their work and the videos we're going to help create them, get some ideas on that, and see how their marketing is working now, and then see what their competitors are doing and do a comparison that way, and really do a lot of research really quickly with Claude and getting a lot of really great things. So I can see how their YouTube's performing, how their Instagram's performing, and how their competitors are performing, and then seeing how I can, change those things in their own things and my proposal. Now, for myself as a business, I'm using this to help see how other production companies are doing stuff, how other YouTube channels are doing, and see what their content they're creating, why that stuff works and why it doesn't work. And this is really valuable. and things that would take you so much time before and really hard to do, and things like myself I do not want to do, but I'm very interested in. So using AI for that as a production company, and I think marketing as a whole, as if you're any kind of business, if you're a service oriented, business, you're a garage, you're doing painting of homes, whatever, you're a landscape company, being able to use AI to help you see, where your marketing is doing well compared to your other competitors' marketing, what they're doing better, seeing what's working, seeing what's getting engaging. That's really huge. And I know there's lots of people that are using it for Facebook ads and Instagram ads and YouTube pre-roll ads, really helping them use that to make that better and make it work better for them and get better responses. So as always, I'm really interested in hearing what you guys are using. How has AI helped you in your video production? What tools you're using? Who are great people to follow on stuff like this? What stuff is not working for you? Where do you see this going in the future? Please comment on the video. I'd love to really dig deeper into this and get some more ideas from you guys and kind of create some more content. Let me know if there's any specific things you'd like me to show you how we're using, if that's EdiAI or if that's the things I've created with Claude to help with the production company with, renaming photos. Let me know and we can do some videos about those themselves, specifically on those. And thanks so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please think of subscribing to the channel. Please think of liking this video. That all really helps to build my algorithm and the AI of YouTube seeing where this video lands and getting it to the right people. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.